the middle of World War II, while the skies echoed with the roar of propellers, the United States began building something no one had seen before. A machine that didn't just fly, it whispered through the air. It was called the P-59 Airacomet, America's very first jet fighter. Slow, shaky, and far from perfect, but it was a glimpse into the future. What followed was a revolution. From the blazing guns of the F-86 Sabre over Korea, to the screaming power of the F-4 Phantom in Vietnam, from the air superiority of the F-15 and F-16, to the silent strikes of the F-117 and B-2 Spirit, each jet was faster, deadlier, and smarter than the last. And now, in the skies above us, we know flies a new kind of power. A jet so advanced, it doesn't just avoid radar, it erases its presence completely. This is the story of American jets, from their very first takeoff, to the machines that will dominate the wars of tomorrow. In the fall of 1942, deep in the American Southwest, history was quietly being made. On October 1st, 1942, at a remote airstrip in Muroc Dry Lake, California, the site we now know as Edwards, Air Force Base, the Bell P-59 Airacomet took to the skies for the very first time. But piloting that historic flight was test pilot Robert Stanley, the chief test pilot for Bell Aircraft. Though the official U.S. Army flight came just a few days later, it was Stanley's solo, unofficial hop that marked the first moment. An American-designed jet aircraft broke free from the ground. The flight itself was short, lasting only a few minutes. The P-59 lifted off, climbed gently, and made a basic circuit before landing again. There were no high-speed passes, no daring maneuvers, just a cautious, measured test of something entirely new. But what it represented was enormous. For the first time in U.S. aviation history, a plane was flying without a propeller, powered solely by the thrust of jet engines. The P-59 project was developed under strict secrecy. So much so that when the aircraft was transported between factories and bases, engineers would literally paint fake propellers on its nose, just to avoid suspicion and keep the press and public guessing. Jet engines themselves, the General Electric J-31s, were born from a British design gifted to the U.S. during wartime cooperation. The British had already flown their Gloucester H-39 and were developing the Gloucester Meteor. The Americans knew they had to catch up on the fast. The U.S. Army Air Forces officially conducted their own first test flight just a few days later on October 2nd, 1942, flown by Major Lawrence C. Craigie, making him the first U.S. military pilot to fly a jet-powered airplane. As testing continued, the engineers and pilots quickly realized the P-59 was not a fighter that could compete with what was already in the skies. It struggled with acceleration, lacked agility, and had trouble maintaining energy in turns. Still, none of that truly mattered, because the Airacomet wasn't built to dominate the battlefield. It was built to learn. Through each test flight, data was gathered about jet engine behavior, fuel flow at altitude, stability, and structural stress. Every successful landing meant new knowledge for a country just beginning its journey into the jet age. Looking back, the first flight of the P-59 Airacomet may seem small, a short, gentle hop above a dry lake bed in the California desert. But that moment in October 1942 was the birth of American jet aviation, and from it, a revolution in air power would soon follow. With the lessons learned from the Bell P-59 still fresh in the minds of American engineers, the need for a truly capable jet fighter had never been greater. The world was still at war, and the skies were rapidly changing. In 1943, the United States turned to one of its most trusted aircraft manufacturers, Lockheed, to build a faster, deadlier, and fully combat-ready jet. What followed was a miracle of engineering speed. In just 143 days, Lockheed engineers, led by the brilliant Clarence Kelly Johnson, delivered a jet that would change history. They called it the P-80 Shooting Star. Unlike the experimental P-59, the P-80 was built with one goal in mind: performance. It had a sleek, streamlined fuselage, powered by a single Allison J-33 turbojet engine producing over 4,000 pounds of thrust. It could reach speeds of up to 600 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest aircraft of its time and more than 150 mph faster than its predecessor. Its design was simple, yet revolutionary. a straight-wing jet with clean lines and bubble canopy for better visibility. It measured about 34 feet in length, with a wingspan of just over 38 feet. Unlike the underpowered P-59, the P-80 had real muscle. It climbed faster, flew higher, and responded like a fighter should. Armed with 650 caliber machine guns mounted in the nose and capable of carrying bombs or rockets under its wings. The P-80 wasn't just fast, it was deadly. The P-80 took its first flight on January 8, 1944, with test pilot Milo Burcham at the controls. The flight was a success, and the aircraft showed immediate promise. But because World War II was already nearing its end, the P-80 arrived. Just a little too late to make a major impact on the battlefield. Only a few P-80s were deployed to Europe in the final months of the war, and they didn't see actual combat. But their presence was a warning to the world. America had entered the jet age, and it had done so with force. After the war, the Shooting Star became the backbone of the U.S. Air Force's early jet fighter squadrons. It was even the first American jet to engage in combat during the Korean War, flying alongside the more advanced F-86 Sabre. Its upgraded variant, the T-33, became one of the most widely used jet trainers in the world, flown by over 40 countries. But perhaps the most important legacy of the P-80 isn't just in the battles it fought, but in the confidence it gave to U.S. designers and pilots. It proved that America could not only build jets, it could build jets that could win. The Lockheed P-80 Shooting Star wasn't just a machine. It was a declaration that from now on, the skies would belong to speed, fire, and jet-powered thunder. By the late 1940s, jet technology had matured, and a new kind of war was emerging. Fast, high altitude, and fiercely competitive. Propeller fighters were no longer the kings of the sky. The world was entering the era of jet versus jet combat. And at the forefront of this revolution was the North American F-86 Sabre, the United States' first truly successful, swept-wing jet fighter, and the aircraft that would go head-to-head against the Soviet MiG-15 in the skies over Korea. The story of the F-86 began in 1945, right after World War II ended. American engineers had gained access to captured German data on swept-wing aerodynamics, a design that dramatically improved high-speed performance. Inspired by that, North American aviation redesigned their straight-wing prototypes, and what emerged was a sleek, aggressive fighter with wings swept back at 35 degrees, built to chase speed and outmaneuver anything in the sky. Powered by the General Electric J-47 turbojet engine, the Sabre could reach speeds of 687 miles per hour, just below the speed of sound. It had a service ceiling of over 49,000 feet, and a range of more than 1,200 miles with drop tanks. For its time, it was a masterpiece of balance, speed, agility, climb rate, and stability. Its armament included 50 caliber Browning machine guns mounted in the nose, capable of firing more than 1,200 rounds. Some later models even carried cannons and air-to-air missiles. But what truly made the F-86 legendary wasn't just its stats. It was how it performed in battle. When the Korean War erupted in 1950, the US deployed the F-86 to counter a deadly new threat, the Soviet-made MiG-15. The MiG was fast, agile, and deadly, and for the first time in history, American pilots faced jet vs. jet dogfights at high altitudes. What followed was a dramatic air war, especially over a region called MiG Alley, the northwest part of North Korea, near the Yalu River. There, F-86 Sabres and MiG-15s clashed daily in battles that would define the future of aerial warfare. Despite the MiG's slight performance edge in climb rate and ceiling, the Sabre had a crucial advantage: its superior handling, better gun sight, and highly trained American pilots. The result? A kill ratio that heavily favored the Sabre, often reported as high as 10-1. The F-86 wasn't just a fighter, it was a symbol. Over 9,800 F-86 Sabres were built, making it one of the most produced jet fighters in history. It served not only with the US, but also with the air forces of over 20 nations. Its trainer and reconnaissance variants flew well into the 1970s. More than just metal and engine parts, the F-86 Sabre represented a generation of pilots, daring, skilled, and flying faster than ever before. It was the first American jet to prove itself in air-to-air combat, and it proved that jet warfare would no longer be about just flying fast, but fighting smart. In the Cold War skies of the 1960s and 70s, one aircraft stood above the rest, fast, powerful and unmistakable in its roar. It wasn't just a fighter, it was a legend. This was the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II, first taking to the skies in 1958. The Phantom was unlike anything America had built before. It wasn't designed just for air-to-air, combat or ground strikes. It was designed to do both, and that's what made it special. For the first time, a single aircraft could deliver bombs, fire missiles, intercept enemy jets, and fly high-speed reconnaissance missions, all in one airframe. Originally developed for the U.S. Navy as a fleet defense interceptor, the F-4's performance was so impressive that it was quickly adopted by the U.S. Air Force and Marine Corps as well, a rare achievement for any fighter. Powered by two General Electric J79 turbojet engines, the Phantom could produce a staggering 34,000 pounds of thrust, launching it to speeds over Mach 2.2, more than 450 miles per hour. It could climb at nearly 42,000 feet per minute and had a service ceiling of 60,000 feet. This wasn't just about speed. The F-4 carried a fearsome weapons load, up to 18,000 pounds of bombs and missiles, including AIM-7 Sparrow radar-guided missiles, AIM-9 Sidewinders, and later models even carried internal cannons. After early versions were criticized for lacking guns in close dogfights, its sheer size was imposing. With a length of over 63 feet and a wingspan of 38 feet, it was big, loud, and unmistakable. Nicknamed the Rhino and sometimes Double Ugly, the Phantom wasn't pretty, but it didn't need to be. It was designed to dominate. During the Vietnam War, the F-4 Phantom became the workhorse of American air power. It flew more than 500,000 combat missions, striking enemy supply lines, engaging MiG fighters in dogfights, and supporting troops on the ground. Despite facing early criticism for relying too heavily on missiles and for lacking a gun, later variants like the F-4E introduced an internal M61 Vulcan cannon, making the Phantom a true threat in close-range combat as well. The Phantom became America's first true multi-role combat jet, and its adaptability kept it in service across decades. It wasn't just a US weapon. It was exported to 11 other countries, including the UK, Japan, Germany, and Israel. In total, over 5,000 F-4s were built, making it one of the most produced supersonic military aircraft in history. And it wasn't done quickly. It served in active duty, from the 1950s all the way through the 1990s, with some nations flying it well into the 2000s. Beyond its combat record, the Phantom set 16 world records, including altitude, speed, and time to climb. It could outpace almost anything of its era. The F-4 Phantom wasn't graceful. It didn't whisper through the clouds. It thundered through them, a high-speed beast of steel, fire, and jet fuel. And for more than 3 decades, it defined American air power.
In the midst of the Cold War,
while most jets fought for control of the skies, one aircraft was designed to fight beneath them, fast, deep, and undetected. This was the General Dynamics P-59 Airacomet, America's first true swing-wing strike aircraft, and one of the most daring designs of its era. The F-111 was conceived in the early 1960s as part of a bold vision to create a single aircraft that could fulfill the needs of both the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Navy. A fighter bomber that could fly low, fast, and far into enemy territory with devastating precision. Its first flight took place on December 21, 1964. From the very beginning, it was clear this aircraft was different. It had a long, pointed nose, a sleek tandem cockpit, and most notably, variable sweep wings. These wings could extend straight out for slow-speed takeoffs and landings, or sweep back like a dart to reach supersonic speeds at low altitude. Powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney TF30 afterburning turbofan engines, the F-111 could hit speeds of over Mach 2.5 at altitude. That's more than 650 miles per hour. But speed alone wasn't its deadliest feature. What made the Aardvark truly unique was its ability to fly at extremely low altitudes. At high speed, using a terrain-following radar system, the aircraft could literally hug the Earth, flying beneath enemy radar coverage while traveling hundreds of miles into enemy territory to strike strategic targets with pinpoint accuracy. Its maximum range was astonishing, over 3,000 miles, with drop tanks, and a combat radius of nearly 2,300 miles. It could carry a weapons load of up to 31,500 pounds, including laser-guided bombs, conventional or nuclear payloads, and precision munitions. Although originally intended for both Navy and Air Force use, the Navy ultimately withdrew due to carrier landing concerns. The F-111 became a dedicated Air Force strike aircraft and later evolved into specialized variants like the F-111A Raven, an advanced electronic warfare platform. The Aardvark made its combat debut during the Vietnam War, flying fast strike missions deep into enemy territory. It gained further fame in Operation El Dorado Canyon in 1986, when F-111s flew a nighttime, long-range bombing raid on Libya, flying more than 6,400 miles, round trip. Its final wartime service came during Operation Desert Storm in 1991, where the F-111F variant played a key role in precision, strikes against Iraqi command centers, tanks, and airfields, earning a reputation for unmatched accuracy and survivability. With over 560 units built, the F-111 served in the U.S. Air Force from 1967 to 1998, and even longer with the Royal Australian Air Force, until 2010. The Aardvark may not have been the flashiest jet in the hangar, but when you needed to destroy a target silently, swiftly, and without warning, there was nothing better.
In the vast blue oceans where aircraft carriers
Rule and threats can come from beyond the horizon. America needed a jet fast, deadly, and unmatched in long-range interception. The answer came in the shape of a twin-tailed, swing-wing beast, the F-14 Tomcat. Developed by Grumman Aerospace and first flown in 1970, the F-14 wasn't just a fighter, it was a fleet defender. A long-range interceptor built to protect U.S. Navy carrier groups from Soviet bombers and missiles during the height of the Cold War. Its design was as distinctive as its mission. With its sleek predatory nose, twin vertical stabilizers, and variable sweep wings, the F-14 could adapt its aerodynamics mid-flight. Wings extended wide for takeoffs and slow speeds, then swept back aggressively for high-speed interception, a feature that earned it the nickname Big Fighter. Under its skin, the Tomcat was a technological marvel. Powered by two Pratt & Whitney TF-30 engines, later upgraded to GE F-110s, it could fly at Mach 234 at over 500 miles per hour, with a combat range of up to 1,600 miles, making it one of the longest-range fighters ever flown from a carrier deck. But what truly made the F-14 deadly was its weapons system, especially the AWG-9 radar. The first of its kind that could track up to 24 targets at once and engage 6 simultaneously using the AIM-54 Phoenix missile, a 13-foot-long air-to-air missile, with a range of over 100 miles. No other fighter at the time could match this reach. The F-14 could destroy bombers long before they could threaten the fleet. Inside the cockpit sat 2 crew members, a pilot and a radar intercept officer, REO. Working together, they made the Tomcat not just fast, but smart. A coordinated weapon platform where data, speed, and firepower came together. The F-14 entered service in 1974, and it didn't take long to prove its worth. In the Gulf of Sidra during the 1980s, F-14s shot down multiple Libyan MiGs without taking a scratch. Its kill record was clean, precise, and intimidating. And while the jet saw real combat, it also became a pop culture icon in 1986, when Tom Cruise's Top Gun made the F-14 the most recognized fighter in the world. Even as newer jets came along, the F-14's blend of range, power, and presence kept it flying with the Navy until 2006. Meanwhile, Iran, which acquired Tomcats before the 1979 revolution, kept flying and fighting with them into the 21st century. More than 700 F-14s were built, though it was eventually retired in favor of the F/A-18 Super Hornet. The Tomcat left behind a legacy that still echoes in carrier, operations, and aerial warfare. In the world of modern aerial combat, there are fast jets, and then there's the F-15 Eagle, a machine so powerful, so lethal, that no enemy aircraft has ever brought one down in air-to-air combat. This is not just a fighter, it's an air superiority legend. Born from the ashes of Vietnam, where American air power faced new challenges, the F-15 was built with a singular goal: never lose a dogfight again. First taking to the skies in July 1972, this jet wasn't just faster or better armed, it was a complete dominance platform. Developed by McDonnell Douglas, the F-15 was designed around the concept of energy maneuverability theory, meaning it could climb faster, turn sharper, and accelerate harder than anything else flying at the time. Powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney F-100 After burning turbofan engines, each producing over 23,000 pounds of thrust, the Eagle could reach Mach 2.5, more than 1,875 miles per hour. It could climb to 65,000 feet and accelerate vertically like a rocket. But speed wasn't the only weapon. The F-15 was equipped with the AN-APG's X-3 pulse Doppler radar, capable of tracking targets beyond visual range and engaging them with AIM-7 Sparrow and AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles. For close-in fights, it carried the reliable AIM-9 Sidewinder and a powerful 3D Vulcan cannon. Its structure was rugged and robust, built with a large wing area for superior lift and agility. Even fully loaded, the F-15 could maintain a thrust-to-weight ratio greater than 1, allowing it to accelerate straight up, a feature few jets in the world can match. The Eagle officially entered U.S. Air Force service in 1976, and it didn't take long for it to prove itself. From Operation Desert Storm to battles in the Middle East and beyond, the F-15 earned its title as the undefeated champion of the skies. No F-15 Eagle has ever been lost in air-to-air combat. Over 100 confirmed kills, 0 losses, a record unmatched in aviation history. The F-15 was so versatile that it spawned multiple versions. The F-15C for air dominance, and the F-15E Strike Eagle for long-range precision strike missions, equipped with advanced targeting pods and a second crew member. And it's not done yet. Even decades after its debut, the Eagle still flies, now in the form of the F-15EX, a next-generation upgraded version with modern avionics and electronic warfare systems. More than 1,600 F-15Es have been built and flown by allies including Israel, Japan, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, all of whom have used the jet with great success. In the world of fighter jets, some are built to dominate, some to survive. But the F-16 fighting Falcon was built to do it all, fast, agile, affordable, and ready to strike with pinpoint precision. Nicknamed the Viper by its pilots, the F-16 first flew in 1974, but even today, it continues to guard the skies of over 25 countries, a symbol of American engineering. This was a fourth-generation, multi-role fighter designed to be nimble, enough to dogfight, yet smart enough to strike ground targets with surgical accuracy. Its design philosophy was radical. Unlike the heavier F-4s and F-15s of the time, the F-16 was light, fast, and had a unique fly-by-wire control system, the first of its kind in a fighter. This allowed it to perform high-G maneuvers that would tear other aircraft apart. Its airframe featured a bubble canopy for 360-degree visibility, a side-stick controller like a video game joystick for instinctive handling, and an off-center air intake to feed its single engine. The powerful Pratt & Whitney F-100 or General Electric F-110, depending on the variant. With a top speed of Mach 2+, that's over 1/500 mph, and a combat radius of nearly 500 miles, the F-16 could take off, strike a target deep in enemy territory, and return safely, all while holding its own in a dogfight. But the real strength of the Falcon was its versatility. It could carry up to 17,000 pounds of weapons across 11 hardpoints, including air-to-air missiles, precision-guided bombs, anti-radiation missiles, and even nuclear weapons. From air superiority to close air support, it could do it all, and do it well. It became the backbone of the U.S. Air Force, flying combat missions from Desert Storm to Afghanistan, Syria to Libya. It also became the export superstar, used by nations like Israel, Egypt, Pakistan, Poland, Turkey, the UAE, and many more. Over 4,600 units have been built, making it the most produced fourth-gen fighter in history. Even now, modernized variants like the F-16V keep it relevant in the age of stealth. Its legacy is still being written, not because it was the most advanced jet of its time, but because it was the most balanced, a perfect mix of speed, maneuverability, tech, and cost. From the roaring decks of aircraft carriers to the scorching deserts of the Middle East, one aircraft has proven itself time and again, fast, tough, and versatile. This is the F/A-18 Hornet, the jet that redefined what it means to be a modern fighter, born out of the need for a lightweight, multi-role aircraft that could operate from the tight quarters of an aircraft carrier. The F/A-18 first took flight in 1978. By the early 1980s, it had replaced legacy fighters like the F-4, Phantom, and the A-7 Corsair, and in doing so, became the first aircraft in U.S. history to combine fighter and attack roles into a single airframe. That's where the name comes from. F for fighter, A for attack. Whether it was intercepting enemy aircraft or delivering precision-guided bombs, the Hornet could do both and do them well. Designed by McDonnell Douglas, now Boeing, the F/A-18 featured twin engines, a twin tail, and rugged carrier landing gear. Its airframe was compact yet strong, perfect for catapult launches and arrested recoveries on the open ocean. Powered by two General Electric F404 GE402 engines, the Hornet could reach speeds over Mach 1.8 and perform sharp high-G maneuvers thanks to its digital fly-by-wire system. It could fly in, strike a target, dogfight on the way out, and land on a moving aircraft carrier, all in a single mission. The jet was also highly survivable, with redundant systems, built-in diagnostics, and all-weather radar. It was designed to fight in any environment, under any conditions. Armament! The F/A-18 carried it all, and from AIM-9, Sidewinders, and AM-120, AMRAAMs for air-to-air combat, to laser-guided bombs, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, and AGM-88 HARM anti-radar missiles for ground and sea targets. It also carried a 20mm M61 Vulcan cannon, giving it teeth in close combat. It entered service in 1983, and it wasn't long before the Hornet saw action. First in Libya, then in Desert Storm, where it flew more than 4,500 sorties with incredible success. It's also been exported to several nations, including Canada, Australia, Spain, Finland, Switzerland, and Kuwait, proving itself as a trusted frontline fighter across the globe. Eventually, the F/A-18 Hornet evolved into the F/A-18EF Super Hornet, a larger and more capable version that remains the backbone of U.S. Navy aviation today. But make no mistake, the original Hornet carved its own legacy in steel, fire, and flight. Agile, reliable, and endlessly flexible, the F/A-18 is the definition of what a multi-role combat aircraft should be. Imagine an aircraft that couldn't be seen, not because it flew too fast or too high, but because it simply didn't show up. No radar signature, no warning, just shadows and destruction. This wasn't science fiction, this was the F-117 Nighthawk. Developed in complete secrecy by Lockheed's legendary Skunk Works team, the F-117 was the world's first operational stealth aircraft. It was created for one reason: to enter the most dangerous, heavily defended enemy airspace and strike without being seen. Its origins trace back to the 1970s, when Cold War tensions demanded a new kind of weapon, one that could evade radar rather than outrun missiles. Lockheed engineers, led by stealth pioneer Ben Rich, built a jet so radical, it looked like something out of a sci-fi movie. Angular, faceted, and entirely black. The F-117 first flew on June 18, 1981, and officially entered U.S. Air Force service in 1983. For years, it was kept top secret. No photos, no public records. It flew only at night from remote bases hidden in plain sight. Nicknamed the Wobbly Goblin by its pilots due to its unusual aerodynamics, the F-117 was surprisingly stable thanks to its quadruple fly-by-wire system, which constantly corrected its flight path hundreds of times per second. Though often mistaken as a fighter, the F-117 was strictly a strike aircraft, designed to deliver precision-guided bombs deep into enemy territory. It had no radar, no missiles, and relied purely on stealth. Surprise and pinpoint accuracy, it carried its weapons internally, hidden from radar, and used a forward-looking infrared system, FLIR, and laser targeting to guide its 2-2 cylinder-pound laser-guided bombs, enough to cripple command, bunkers, or take out key infrastructure. It saw its first combat during Operation Just Cause in Panama, but became legendary during Operation Desert Storm in 1991, where it flew over 100 to 200 missions without a single aircraft lost, hitting high-value targets in Baghdad while SAMs and MiG searched the skies in vain. Its stealth design, made from flat panels, radar-absorbent materials, and a faceted shape, was unlike anything seen before. To radar operators, it was the size of a bird. To enemies, it was a ghost. Though retired in 2008, the F-117's legacy lives on. Some aircraft were even spotted flying again in secret in later years, a testament to its unmatched stealth capabilities. Some aircraft are built to dominate dogfights, some to support ground troops. But the B-2 Spirit was built for something much darker, to fly across the world undetected and deliver destruction with chilling silence. Designed during the Cold War, the B-2 wasn't made to win small battles. It was made to end wars before they began. A stealth strategic bomber, capable of carrying both conventional and nuclear weapons. The B-2 Spirit was America's ultimate ace in the hole. It first flew on July 17, 1989, but its development was so secret, so advanced that for years, it existed only in rumors and blurry photos. With its futuristic flying wing design, it didn't just look alien. It was invisible to most radar systems on Earth. Unlike any bomber before it, the B-2 could fly 6,000 nautical miles non-stop, refuel in mid-air, sneak into enemy territory undetected, strike high-value targets, and vanish into the night sky, all without ever showing up on radar. Its stealth capabilities were the result of revolutionary design, a blended wing body, radar-absorbent coatings, internal weapon bays, and no tail or vertical surfaces. Everything about it screamed stealth. Despite its massive 172-foot wingspan, it had a radar cross-section smaller than a bird. That meant enemy radars saw nothing. Until it was too late. It carried 2 pilots flying side by side, supported by one of the most classified avionics suites in aviation history. Its targeting systems were so accurate that it could drop bombs on a building from 50,000 feet with pinpoint precision. The B-2 could carry up to 40,004 pounds of weapons, from conventional JDAMs to 16 B-61 or B-83 nuclear bombs. It was built to penetrate the world's toughest air defenses: Russia, China, North Korea, and strike before alarms even sounded. It first saw combat in 1999, during the Kosovo War, and later played major roles in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya. And every time it flew, it proved one thing: the enemy never saw it coming. Only 21 B-2s were ever built, due to their extreme cost, nearly $2.1 billion per unit. But in return, the US got the most feared aircraft ever to fly. Speed, stealth, power, precision. These aren't just features. They are the DNA of a fighter built, not just to win wars, but to end them before they begin. This is the F-22 Raptor, the most dominant air superiority fighter ever built. The F-22 was born from a vision in the late 1980s, a future battlefield where only the most invisible, maneuverable, and intelligent aircraft would survive. The Cold War may have ended, but the arms race didn't. America wanted air dominance, and it built a machine that could secure it for decades. First flown on September 7, 1997, and entering service in 2005, the F-22 Raptor was unlike anything before it. A combination of stealth, supercruise, supermaneuverability, and sensor fusion. A true 5th-generation fighter ahead of its time. Its airframe is sleek, sharp, and deadly, designed to reflect radar waves away from enemy systems. Its surface coatings and internal weapons bays make it almost invisible on radar, with a radar cross-section smaller than a marble. But stealth was just the beginning. Powered by 2 Pratt & Whitney F-119 PW100 engines, the F-22 can cruise at Mach 1.8 without afterburners, a capability known as supercruise. That means it can fly supersonic, stay stealthy, and still outrun anything chasing it. Its thrust vectoring nozzles allow it to do aerial maneuvers that no other fighter can match, like cobra turns, post-stall flips, and instantaneous directional changes. In a dogfight, the Raptor is untouchable. But it's not just a flying acrobat. The Raptor is also a sensor fusion powerhouse. It combines radar, electronic warfare, and data links to create a 360-degree battlefield picture. Often the enemy is destroyed before they even know the Raptor is there. It's armed with 6 AIM-20 round missiles and 2 AIM-9 Sidewinders, all hidden inside its fuselage to maintain stealth. It also has a deadly 20mm M61 Vulcan cannon for close-in kills. It can carry ground attack weapons too, like JDAMs, though its primary mission is air dominance, to clear the skies of enemy fighters before any others move in. The US built only 187 Raptors due to high cost, roughly $50 million per unit, but each one remains unmatched. And even 2 decades later, no foreign fighter, not even the latest Russian or Chinese jets, have surpassed it in air combat. What if one fighter could do it all? What if a single jet could dogfight like an F-16, deliver strikes like an F-117, gather intel like a drone, and vanish like a ghost? That's not a fantasy, it's the F-35 Lightning II. Designed to be the world's most versatile, stealthy and intelligent multi-role fighter, the F-35 was born from the Joint Strike Fighter JSF program, a US-led effort to build one jet that could serve the Air Force, Navy and Marine Corps, as well as allies around the world. Its first flight took place on December 15, 2006, and since then, the F-35 has become the most widely deployed 5th-generation stealth fighter in the world, with over 1,000 aircraft in service across more than 18 nations. It comes in 3 variants: F-35A for conventional takeoff and landing, Air Force, F-35B with vertical takeoff, landing, Marine Corps and Royal Navy, F-35C carrier capable, US Navy, with larger wings and stronger landing gear. Its sleek design, internal weapon bays, and radar-absorbent coating make it nearly invisible to radar, even while carrying a deadly payload. But the true revolution lies in its brains, not just its stealth. Equipped with the AN/APG-81 AESA radar, Distributed Aperture System (DS), Electro-Optical Targeting System (EOTS), and Sensor Fusion AI, the F-35 gives its pilot unmatched 360-degree battlefield awareness. The jet sees everything and shares that data in real time with allies. Its glass cockpit and helmet-mounted display project vital information directly onto the pilot's visor. With just a glance, a pilot can lock onto a target, launch a missile, or command a swarm of drones. It's not just flying, it's thinking ahead. Powered by a single Pratt & Whitney F-135 engine, the F-35 can reach speeds of Mach 1.6 and has excellent maneuverability, thanks to fly-by-wire controls and stealth-optimized design. Though often criticized for its cost and delays, the F-35 has matured into a lethal force multiplier, capable of air superiority, precision ground strikes, CID, suppression of enemy air defenses, electronic warfare, and intelligence gathering. In joint exercises, F-35s routinely dominate 4th-gen fighters, achieving kill ratios of 21 or higher, often destroying targets before they're even detected. It doesn't just fly under the radar. It was designed to erase it completely. In an era where adversaries are rapidly upgrading their air defenses, stealth alone is no longer enough. The United States needed something more. A platform not only invisible to radar, but one that could adapt, evolve, and strike anywhere on Earth. That's where the B-21 Raider comes in, a 5th-generation stealth strategic bomber, designed from the ground up to dominate the skies of tomorrow, named in honor of the Doolittle Raiders, the legendary pilots who carried out America's first bombing raid on Japan during World War II. The B-21 symbolizes bold innovation and strategic reach. The B-21 took its first flight on November 10, 2023, soaring silently over California. Sleek and futuristic, it features a flying wing design similar to the B-2 Spirit, but with far superior stealth capabilities and cutting-edge digital systems. The aircraft's entire body is shaped to deflect radar, with next-generation radar-absorbent materials, smooth surfaces, and low-heat signature engines to reduce detection from all spectrums, including infrared. But what makes the B-21 truly revolutionary is what lies beneath the skin. A modular open software architecture that allows it to rapidly receive upgrades, new weapons, and even AI-assisted mission capabilities, all without needing a major redesign. The B-21 is designed to penetrate the most heavily defended enemy airspace and deliver both nuclear and conventional, precision-guided weapons. It will eventually be able to carry Nuclear bombs like the B-61 Mod 12, long-range standoff missiles LRSO, massive ordnance like the GBU-57 Bunker Buster, future hypersonic missiles. Unlike older bombers, every weapon is carried internally, maintaining the aircraft's stealth profile at all times. Powered by two ultra-quiet, stealth-optimized engines, the B-21 cruises at subsonic speeds around 150 km/h with a range exceeding 12,000 kilometers without refueling. It can strike anywhere on Earth with surgical precision. The aircraft is manned by a crew of 2, but it is being designed with optionally unmanned capability for high-risk future missions. It can carry around 13,600 kilos of payload, with advanced avionics allowing full mission control, threat analysis, and data sharing across US and Allied forces, all in real time. The B-21 is not just a bomber. It's a smart flying system. Its cockpit is fully digital. Its systems are built for cyber resilience, and its onboard processors are capable of integrating with satellites, drones, and ground forces, creating a fully networked battlefield. It's also the first US bomber to be built with digital engineering from day one. That means its entire life cycle, from maintenance to upgrades, is faster, cheaper, and more efficient.